You will know that you're opening the door to many changes. Among them, of course, the traditional way subjects are taught to ensure it gets the maximum results and also to maintain some sense of normalcy during this difficult time. The Ministry of Education has launched virtual classes. Now, this morning, we speak with Catholic Archbishop Patrick Pinder and Director of Catholic Education, Claudette Rowe. Archbishop Pinder, Ms. Rowe, welcome to the morning edition.
Good morning, Makishla.
Well, the obvious question is, what's the way forward for those schools that fall under the purview of the Catholic Board? That's St. Cecilia, St. Thomas More, Mary Star of the Seas, Xavier, St. Francis and Joseph Catholic primary schools, along with Aquinas College for those who are not aware. And how difficult has it been making the transition?
Well, first of all, let me just say that with respect to all the schools related to the Archdiocese, which also includes St. Augustine's College, I just wanted to indicate that while we are currently in this global pandemic, which first and foremost is a public health crisis, it has brought on an economic crisis as well. But fundamentally, really it involves the lives of persons and it affects persons, and we have to keep that first and foremost in our minds. And the Archdiocese and all its endeavors seeking to respond to that keeps that in its minds. And so our response is one which tries to avoid things like layoffs. Our resources are not inexhaustible by any means, and so as we move further and further into this crisis, there will be sacrifices made. But the important thing for us to do is to ensure all those involved with any of our endeavors, whether it be our central administrative offices, our chantry office, or our schools, we wish them all to know that the Archdiocese certainly stands to accompany you through this crisis and not to part company from you in the crisis. That is not an easy position to take, but we believe it is the right one to do at this time. With respect to the details of the school, I'll let our Director of Education speak to that.
Well, good morning, Ms. Rowe. What changes have the Catholic Board of Education has had to make in light of COVID-19?
Well, there's so many changes, but the main changes are that, first of all, our students are learning in place or learning from home. And so we have had to make sure that there was the internet capability. We also had to do the survey to make sure that all of our students had the devices. And where that was not able to happen, we had to end up doing hard copy packets or learning packets, as we call them, for most of our parents. And of course, we had to get our teachers familiar with the various platforms that they can use for remote learning.
Now, what about those students who have never been as quick a learner as their classmates? What's the assurance there to keep them at pace with virtual learning?
Well, what we've done is the guidance counselors are working with them, and we also have teachers in daily contact with them. We said that in some instances, we're going to have to go old school, as we call it, where we are connecting with them either with a landline or by telephone. And so that has really helped with the guidance counselors and the administrators and teachers reaching out to them.
Now, I know you can't accept that there's a fear from parents that, they may have a child that may not graduate, move on to the next grade because of COVID-19, because of the struggle with the virtual learning. What assurance can you give to parents that is there going to be an end-of-year examination? And in that case, what format will that take?
Well, we really have not determined that. We're still waiting for some dates from Ministry of Education, but we're going to have various forms of assessment, and we feel that our students had already been into basically the second or third week of the third term. And so they've already covered more than 2/3 of the year. And what we're doing now to support them, we know that most of them will be ready for the next academic year. And so we're going to give a level of comfort to the parents by continuously communicating with them and assuring them that we will make sure that they're ready for the next year and can be matriculated successfully to the next grade. That is provided, of course, they do what we're asking them to do at this period.
Now, I know the Archbishop noted that there have been challenges getting to this point, but, you know, they're trying to keep things intact in terms of, I guess, staving off layoffs and things of that sort. Speak to us more about the challenges you've encountered getting to this point.
Well, the main challenge really is we have to make fees are perhaps one of the greatest sources of funding for us in terms of assisting us with salaries. And so if we have to make some adjustments, we're going to have to look at cutting in other areas. Thankfully, we will not have that great cost for maintenance at this juncture. And so there are some things that we know that we can do to stave it off. But the most difficult challenge for us like right now is not having any funding from school fees. But we know that we make some adjustments in other areas to be able to mitigate that.
Do you anticipate that later on you may lose some students because of this in terms of their parents opting to at least, I guess, put them in public schools or cheaper schools, anything of that sort?
We anticipate an attrition because so many parents are not working, and we anticipate that. We are willing to work with parents. We have payment plans that can certainly assist parents if they want to continue keeping their children in the private school or in the Catholic school system. However, we understand that there are other priorities that a household has as well. And so the focus is going to have to be on maintaining or meeting those basic needs, and then we will work with them to see how best we can serve them, knowing that what their employment circumstances are.
Well, once again, that was Director of the Catholic Board of Education, Claudette Roll, as well as Archbishop of the Catholic Church, Patrick Pinder, joining us this morning on the Morning Edition. Stay with us.